because I want to know, what are you working on next to strengthen that OD-MD relationship in your area? Because I know we talked about something that may be coming soon.
Yes, that's right. Luckily, recently, because I've had such good relationships and I network a lot and I have a lot of patients in the area that need care, I've been able to form a relationship with an ophthalmologist that's coming in-house to do our surgeries, our cataract surgeries. So that's another way that, I can't say we're not going to refer anything, but that's one way to have that synergistic relationship where now they're coming in on board and we can make sure that that patient's going to get the right care.
So let's talk a little bit about that. You're going to bring an ophthalmologist into your office.
Mhm.
Are they going to be there, I'm assuming, like 1 or 2 days a week, or maybe once a month in the beginning?
Right. Well, I would say probably once a week, right? And I'm not the only optometrist in the area that has an ophthalmologist on their team. And I don't know in your area, is there any does that exist where it's an optometry owned practice and an ophthalmologist?
It's more like it's an ophthalmology practice and they have optometrists there, not the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I think that as optometrists, we need to start changing the way we think and realize that the sky's the limit. If you build the right relationships, there's no reason why. It has to be the right fit. And I would say I would recommend that if any optometrist is interested in doing some type of relationship with an ophthalmologist where they're going to be doing their surgeries, the easy thing is just asking them, do you know someone? Do you recommend someone? I had a few optometrists too that they would have the ophthalmologist come in and just do the medical care because the ophthalmologist maybe only open their practice part-time and they had a few days extra. And so we have the patient base. And what's the easiest thing? The patient's already used to our office, we're close to their home. And as optometrists, so you have to spend the money and put the medical equipment.
Right. So
Mhm.
is there anything else you would like to share or add about this conversation?
I just think that, and I talk to you about it a lot of times, Diana. I think this is one part of our profession, but there's so many other parts. But this one specifically, right? It's one of the ones that I feel so passionate about. I just wish that optometrists would wake up and realize whether you're an associate, whether you're a business owner in a corporate setting, in a private setting, anywhere, the importance that we have every day that we encounter that patient, we're usually the first one. So we're the first one. We should have the biggest impact in educating them, not only on who they should go to for their surgery, like that word of recommendation is huge, but also why they should come into my practice for an eye exam. What care do they need? I feel like one of the biggest issues in our industry is that we don't do as good as a job marketing and educating the patient how important it is to go see their optometrist.
Right.
And going, I know we're talking about optometry to ophthalmology, but how about PCPs to optometry? And
Right.
that's another thing that another area that I feel that optometrists could do so much in building the PCP optometry relationship so that that patient could get the right care instead of going to the urgent care for a red eye and
Right.
then coming to me.
I agree. And that's really difficult because that right there is another series. I went and spoke with many PCPs to let them know, we
Mhm.
are your primary eye care. If your patient needs an eye exam, I never heard from any of them.
Oh
So,
wow,
yeah.
I do get a lot of referrals from PCPs and
Yeah.
pediatricians on
No,
my
I
area.
I do from established ones, but I said, you know what? There's a couple of new PCPs. Let me, go network with them. And I was honestly shocked. But we do get referrals, but of course they're the ones that have been with us for a long time.
It takes a long, and that's the other thing too, is patience. Maybe that's another thing that's hindering is people start trying to build a relationship and see that it has a dead end. Like, try again. Give the person
Right.
another opportunity. Maybe the front desk wasn't there that day. Maybe they had a bad week. Maybe someone left. Maybe they were on vacation. So just the same way with the pediatricians and PCP, I realized that consistency and persistence is a key. So whether you want to build a relationship with an ophthalmologist or a pediatrician or PCP, you need to remain consistent because they have other things too. And
Sure.
they're treating the patient, making that extra effort to say, wait a second, Diana Canto is a really good optometrist. Let me go out of my way to get you her card and let me do that. That's what you need to work on is building that relationship where now it's in the top of the mind. And getting along with the staff is so important in that aspect.
Just reminded me of a saying that someone told me once. It's not who knows you, it's who remembers you.
Yes, yes. I mean, a little box of pastelitos goes a long way. You know, it's just
Yeah, for the audience that doesn't know what a pastelito is, it's a delicious pastry.
yeah, it's right, Cuban pastry.
So before we close, I do want to ask you something very practical and very actionable. Okay. If you could give every OD watching this one thing they could do tomorrow to immediately improve the communication with their ophthalmologist, what would that be?
I would say just call the ophthalmologist, ask them for their cards, and you send their cards, and then see what happens. See, monitor it for like a week and see, did they send you someone or did you send them someone and what happened?
And so let's say for the ophthalmologist watching this series, what is one thing that they could do tomorrow to show us optometrists and the optometrists in their community that they truly are a partner worth referring to?
I think it's super simple. It's very simple. Speak to the optometrist, whichever optometrist you have a relationship with, put their business cards in your front desk and go out of your way to just send one patient a week. There has to be ophthalmologists see about 40, 50 patients a day. You're telling me there wasn't one patient that they could refer out to an optometrist that needed glasses, that needed contacts, that maybe had dry eyes or vision therapy. There's so many things that we do that they don't do, and vice versa. So I would just say that. Just go out of your way to say, or the second thing, you know what? Just call them and say thank you. And thank you for letting us take part of your patient's care. That's the other
And
thing
send
too.
some
A lot
pastelitos, right?
send some pastelitos, yeah. I think too that's another thing is sometimes I feel like it's a one-way street. And I don't,
Mm,
it would be interesting to ask them if they feel like it's a one-way street. But sometimes I feel like we're always sending their way, but just taking time to send a medical record back
mm,
or getting us the right phone connection to speak to someone when we have someone that has an urgency,
mhm.
those are things that they could get back to us that we're not gonna, it's gonna be so much easier to refer to them. I have an ophthalmologist in the area that we call and we cannot get through the lines. I mean, we
Oh,
cannot.
yeah.
I mean, this is Miami, it's I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
not just there, Gianni. This is why we're having this conversation because this is a nationwide problem. It's an issue that we want to address.
You know what, going back, I'm gonna say the one most important thing, I'm gonna say two. I can't. I'm gonna say two.
Okay.
One, go out of their way to refer a patient from the week, and two, pick up the phone when have someone call us back within an hour. You know how many times I'm like,
Yeah.
I need someone to see my patient.
Right. Especially if it's an
That would be the
emergency,
two things.
right? Dr. Castellanos, this has been such an insightful conversation. What we've talked about today reflects something that many of us in the profession feel, but sometimes we don't say out loud. And that's really that our patients deserve better coordination. And that better coordination starts with all of us, right? With MDs and ODs. So, to my fellow colleagues, whether you're an OD or an MD, I hope this conversation sparks something. That the relationship between optometrists and ophthalmologists is professional, but it's also clinical. And ultimately, it's about the patients who trust us with their vision. And the patients we serve deserve the very best of what we can offer together. So start today. One conversation, one improved system, one stronger partnership. That is how we raise the standard of care for every patient who trusts us with their vision. Thank you so much, Dr. Castellanos, and thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.